This is macOS Ken.
Analysts eye supply chain chatter. Reviews are out for Apple Watch Series 7, and we'll hit some Apple TV Plus news. It is Thursday, the 14th of October, 2021. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Nebbia. Save 10% on Nebbia products by using code macOSKen at nebbia.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Ladder, smart, dynamic term life insurance. What's more fun than life insurance? Almost anything. But Ladder makes it a lot easier to handle. Before Ladder, getting life insurance meant going places, sitting through a sales pitch, filling out tons of paperwork, then waiting for weeks to see if you were approved. Now with Ladder, you can get fast, affordable term life insurance without leaving home. When you apply for $3 million or less in coverage, everything happens online. No doctors, no needles, and no paperwork. Going through the initial questions took me very little time, way less than you'll spend listening to today's show. If you're between the ages of 20 and 60, need coverage, and want to team up with a company that's redeeming life insurance, choose Ladder. Go to ladderlife.com/macOSKen today to see if you're instantly approved. LADDER, that's ladderlife.com/macOSKen. ladderlife.com/macOSKen. Hey, remember that Bloomberg report I told you about yesterday? The one that had Apple reportedly cutting iPhone 13 orders this quarter by 10 million units thanks to a lack of processors from Broadcom and Texas Instruments? Lots of forget about it today from the financial front. Apple 3.0 ran part of a note from Morgan Stanley analyst Katie Huberty. If people are selling, she says she's buying. After saying that she and hers have heard nothing concrete about iPhone production bottlenecks, Huberty's note says regardless of whether supply challenges become more pronounced near term, we'd remind investors of 3 data points that support a buy-the-dip view on the back of supply-driven disruption. Those are said by the analyst to include preferential treatment from suppliers, an ability to beat the odds, as witnessed from the start of the pandemic through the end of 2020, and a customer base that will wait for iPhones to be available rather than jump ship. Huberty has an overweight rating on Apple shares. Her price target on the shares is $168. Coming in just as bullish is Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives. A piece from Apple Insider gathered up the thoughts of a few analysts, including his. Like Huberty, Ives thinks would-be iPhone buyers will wait. Taking a step back, he writes, 5 million to 10 million units moving out of the December quarter into the March quarter due to well-understood supply chain issues is not a worry for us, and ultimately speaks to a stronger demand trajectory than the street had been anticipating. He is double plus positive on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $185. JP Morgan analyst Samik Chatterjee says analysts should have seen production cuts coming, or really that cuts should not be completely surprising. While every 5 million iPhones postponed is about 10 cents off December quarter earnings per share in his estimation, those phones will eventually be made and sold. Quoting Apple Insider, Chatterjee notes that JP Morgan is continuing to see demand and interest for the iPhone 13 lineup tracking better than investor expectations. He says the supply issues may only push the timing of upside for Apple investors. He digs Apple shares in a positive way. His price target on the shares is $180. I have no use for Goldman Sachs analyst Rod Hall where Apple is concerned. He has been nothing but wrong on the company for at least a couple of years now. Apple Insider chose to include him in their roundup for some reason. I guess it is worth mentioning that not every analyst is shrugging off the Bloomberg report. But Eeyore is always going to be Eeyore. Why ask him about the weather? Rod Hall has a hold rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $140. Now the punchline. There may be no iPhone production reduction. Mac Rumors highlights a paywalled report from DigiTimes that says component suppliers for Apple's new iPhones have claimed no cutback in orders thus far this year. When it comes to product rumors, I tend to distrust DigiTimes. When it comes to the supply chain, I don't know how far I trust the site, but what they say is worth noting. Even if the Bloomberg story is correct, it's not that big of a deal according to... it's not that big of a deal according to another report from Bloomberg. Earlier this year, Bloomberg said that Apple had ordered roughly 90 million iPhone 13s through year's end. That would have been a 20% increase from the 75 million units that it has typically ordered in previous years, according to the report. Lopped 10 million off the 90 million, and the latest Bloomberg piece says you're still ahead of where iPhone 12 was at a similar time in its initial run. Yes, there are things to worry about, but the Bloomberg report isn't one of them. So says the other Bloomberg report. NDAs have ended for the Apple Watch Series 7 reviews. The verdict? Looks like Apple has another winner on its hands, or your wrists. Apple must pulled money quotes from a slew of sources. TechCrunch, The Independent, and CNBC all see the bigger screen as a big improvement. iNews likes the bigger display as well, though they don't see the need for an upgrade unless you're sporting a Series 3 or earlier. Engadget seems to feel the same way for anyone sporting a Series 5 or earlier. I did see one ding against the Series 7 that I kind of felt as well. Apple Insider also gathered a number of reviews, including one from Marques Brownlee. Quoting the site, he is disappointed with the range of colors now available, particularly for the base aluminum model. Apple doesn't offer a neutral color for the aluminum baseline Apple Watch, he says. I repeat, no neutral colored aluminum. I know some people might consider the Starlight model pretty neutral, he says, but it definitely has a warmer hue than a silver would, and Midnight has a slight blue hue, much more than a black would. I wondered about that. I suspect the Midnight model headed my way will be close enough to black or space gray for me. I would have been happy going brushed aluminum again, though. Anyway, if you're cool with the colors, Brownlee says the Series 7 is the best overall smartwatch for the iPhone still. Make way for another big bunch of beta updates. Apple Insider ran a couple of reports Wednesday. One of those says that the fourth betas of iOS, iPadOS, and tvOS 15.1 were out to developers, along with the fourth beta of watchOS 8.1. Meanwhile, the other report said that the 10th beta of macOS Monterey was out to the same developer crew. If you're in the developer program, they are there for the taking. If you're in the public beta program, there is a pretty decent chance they'll turn up for you sometime today. Apple has taken the fight against sideloading to, well, I was going to say to paper, but it's the 21st century. That said, building a trusted ecosystem for millions of apps, a threat analysis of sideloading, would be 31 pages long if we did the whole paper thing. Instead, Apple 3.0 says the Cupertino company posted its response to the EU's proposed Digital Markets Act to its site. I have not read it yet. I can't even pretend I have. The part pulled by Apple 3.0 has Apple making the same argument it's made time and again. Outside the walled garden, there be monsters. Inside, when monsters get in, Apple can kill them. If sideloading from third-party app stores were supported, says Apple, malicious apps would simply migrate to third-party stores and continue to infect consumer devices. So goes part of Apple's argument. I hope to read through the report in the coming days. If you'd like to, too, it's available through Apple's site. You can find it at apple.com/privacy. If you got the AirPods Pro Rice Krispies edition, the ones that go snap, crackle, and pop, you've apparently got more time to get those fixed. Mac Rumors ran a piece Wednesday saying that Apple has quietly extended the repair program for the issue. If you've forgotten, the site offers a reminder, saying back in October of last year, Apple introduced a service program to address AirPods Pro issues that could cause them to experience static, crackling sounds, or problems with active noise cancellation. At the time, Apple said the program would cover the AirPods Pro for 2 years after the retail sale of the unit. The piece says Apple's gone in and changed the program's fine print. The repair or replacement program is now good for 3 years after the first retail sale of the unit, according to the report. More news in a moment, but first a word from Nebbia, creator of the Nebbia by Moen Spa Shower. A friend of mine got in touch with me yesterday asking about my Nebbia. He's heard me talk about it on the show, but he wanted to know what I really thought. I told him the same things I've said right here. I truly love the flexibility, being able to raise it and lower it and turn it left and right. Very cool. I love the shower wand. The magnetic mount sounds like a small difference, but not having to wrestle it out of a cradle is huge. I also love that the wand is separate. My last shower, the head and the wand were the same unit. This is much better. We didn't even get to the water-saving part, though that is a huge part of what the Nebbia by Moen Spa Shower does as well. The Nebbia by Moen Spa Shower starts at just $199, but for macOS Ken listeners, we have a deal for you. The first 50 people to use the code macOS Ken at nebbia.com/macOS Ken will get 10% off Nebbia products. Nebbia rarely does deals like this, so this is a great deal to jump on. Go to nebbia.com/macOS Ken. NEBIA, that's nebbia.com/macOS Ken to check out what they have to offer. The first 50 people to use the code macOS Ken when checking out will save 10% on Nebbia products. The only exception to this is pre-order products, as Nebbia is currently offering free shipping in the US on these products. Again, that's nebbia.com/macOS Ken and use that code macOS Ken to save 10%. I'm not a big gamer, but I know this is big news. EVE Online has made its way to the Mac. I know it was available under emulation. Don't start with me about that. This is different. A piece from 9 to 5 Mac says the massively multiplayer online role-playing game now has a native Mac client. The report cites a piece from Engadget that says native support should improve performance and reduce memory demands. It also enables Mac native keyboard and mouse commands players have had to forego until now. I would love to be the kind of person who played this game. Maybe one day. Anyway, you try it and let me know how it is. Free to play with plenty of ways to spend money if you want to. You can find out more and download the client for Intel-based or M1 Macs at eveonline.com. We'll wrap the day with tales from the Phantom Zone, starting with a show from Team Lasso. Mac Rumors says Apple has inked a deal for the comedy series Shrinking. According to the piece, the 10-episode comedy series will feature How I Met Your Mother star Jason Segel playing a therapist who begins to break the rules and tells his clients what he really thinks of them. Ignoring his training and ethics, he finds himself making huge, tumultuous changes in people's lives, including his own, reads the show's description. MacRumor says Siegel is writing and executive producing the show alongside Ted Lasso co-creator Bill Lawrence and Ted Lasso star and writer Brett Goldstein, who plays Roy Kent on Ted Lasso. I gotta say, between this and The Shrink Next Door, you start to wonder whether somebody at Apple TV Plus is maybe going through some stuff, maybe needs somebody to talk to. I'm here. Call me. Actually, a piece from Engadget points out that with the addition of shrinking, Apple TV Plus will now have 2 series about unethical shrinks, the other being the Will Ferrell-Paul Rudd dramedy, The Shrink Next Door. You hear that and you start to wonder whether somebody at Apple TV Plus has trust issues, maybe needs somebody to talk to. I'm here. Call me. Harriet the Spy is on her way to Apple TV Plus, and the Cupertino streamer has offered the world a first look. Cult of Mac brings word of the animated series, saying Harriet, an outspoken and perpetually curious 11-year-old girl, wants to be a writer. She believes that in order to be a good writer, she'll need to know everything, and to know everything means she'll need to spy on everyone. Based on the book of the same name, the cult says the cartoon seems not as dark as the source material. Featuring the voices of Beanie Feldstein and Jane Lynch, Harriet the Spy hits Apple TV Plus on the 19th of November. You can see the trailer now on YouTube. And finally today, one more trailer, this one for a last hurrah. iDownload blog says Apple has hit with a trailer for the 3rd and final season of Dickinson, the anachronistic tale of the early life of American poet Emily Dickinson. According to the piece, Dickinson stars Haley Steinfeld as the eponymous character. With the 3rd season, Emily Dickinson is in her most creative stretch, but there are some real-world issues she must deal with at the same time. That includes the raging Civil War, as well as problems within her own family. As Emily tries to find a way for art to keep hope alive, she must also face a brutal question: can the future be better than what's come before? The trailer is available now on YouTube. The first 3 episodes of the 3rd season will premiere on Friday, the 5th of November, according to the report. They will run 1 a week on following Fridays through the end of the series. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Ladder. Smart, dynamic term life insurance. Learn more at ladderlife.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Nebbia. Save 10% on Nebbia products by using code macOSKen at nebbia.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways: info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.